Hey y'all. So we're going to be taking a look at your upcoming Mabon season, but before we do, a couple of announcements. So first of all, I got a treat for you guys. So I developed a quiz to help you determine what your strongest clairs are. So your clairs are your intuitive abilities in terms of clairvoyance, how you see intuitive information, clairsentience, how you feel intuitive information, and so on and so forth. So if you are curious to see what your strongest clairs are, and then get a little bit of information about how to strengthen them further, develop your other clairs, and then also some information on what my strongest clairs are and exactly how I use them to read on the channel, go get your free quiz. The link is in the description box below, and then let me know your results. I really love to see and hear like what you guys' results are. I love talking clairs all day long, so that link is in the description box below. Secondly, I reopened availability for personal readings. I sold out of the first round that I opened up a couple weeks ago, so I put some more availability up, and once those go, I'm gonna have to shut it down, and then hopefully I'll be able to do it again sometime in the future, but I never quite know when. So I love connecting with you guys personally, so if you guys want to sign up for a personal reading, that also, you guessed it, is a link in the description box below. I look forward to connecting with you. So those are the announcements. Now on to the meat. So we're going into Mabon season, right? So Mabon is a beautiful time as the wheel turns, where we're going into the autumnal equinox here in the northern hemisphere. Flip it for the southern, of course. But in the northern hemisphere, this is when we have equal times of day and night, right? So think about the justice key on the tarot, right? We are moving from Virgo season into Libra season. Libras are the justice key. It's about the scales. It's about balance, right? Which brings it back to that idea of the autumnal equinox and how we begin our descent into the dark time of year. So there's going to be a lot of themes of this time of year in these readings is what does balance look like for us? What is our relationship to the dark time of year? What is our relationship to the unknown and all of the aspects of the things that we can and can't see within the moonlight and the sunlight and all of those aspects of what duality and balance and dark and light brings up for us in our day-to-day and also our spiritual experiences as well. Because as we move forward in the wheel of the year, after that, we have my favorite time, Samhain, aka Halloween, and then we're moving forward further and further into the dark times. Samhain is also the beginning of the new year in the pagan world, my world. So it's a really beautiful time where this is, beginning with Mabon. It's a lot to be excited for. It's a lot to look forward to, and also I find it's a really beautiful opportunity for us to take a really healthy inventory of how we're doing, right? We're going into the last quarter of the year. How are we doing? How have we achieved balance? How are we feeling, right? How can we adjust our equilibrium or just observe our equilibrium, right? And move forward with an energy that feels balanced and grounded and inspired through the rest of the year, right? It's kind of like a, like a last call for the last quarter of the year before we're going into January and we're in a new numerical year. So it's a beautiful opportunity to really take stock and really ask those questions and really consider our relationship to what is seen and unseen. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at your upcoming Mabon season. Hey Sagittarians, how y'all doing? We're going to be taking a look at your Mabon season here. So briefly, in the meditation, I saw the image of the lion from the Strength Key and the rabbit, which in the deck that I'm using today, the Guardians of the Night Tarot, the rabbit is shown on the Fool Key. So I saw the lion from Strength and then the rabbit from the Fool Key in this deck. And then I saw like a divider line, like a division equation, right? And it was like strength divide to the Fool. And I feel like the strength is the prominent energy or advice coming in for you during this time. And it's making way or leading you to or until you get to this Fool energy and a new path ahead. Then I also saw like a still from a film called The Purple Rose of Cairo, which I feel like starred Mia Farrow, but I haven't seen that film in many, many years. But so I can't really speak to it from a place of like great authority. But what I do remember about The Purple Rose of Cairo is it had a lot to do with the past, kind of throwback energy, and kind of, I feel like it's a take on the hermit energy of kind of considering yourself in relationship to your past and getting clarity on it. And again, with that strength key, that's always a good thing to do before moving into the full energy and starting a new cycle or journey. And that strength key is all about making love-based choices over fear-based choices, but it's also about having the love and trust in the universe to embody patience, right? Which is not something we talk about too much with the strength key, but I feel like that's an important aspect of it. So let's go ahead, get your animal energy. And suddenly it all makes sense. Okay. So here we have the butterfly. So yes, let's talk about change. Let's talk about, metamorphosis. Let's talk about, what it takes to completely break down one body or sense of self or cycle or experience and transform into something else. It's hard work. It is air energy here. Now, butterfly equates to that of the Three of Swords in the Tarot, which is about, heart pain and loss and change. But I also feel like there's an aspect to the butterfly that also links it in a way to the death key, right? Because it's about something, changing its shape or changing form in order to emerge and beginning, anew. But the butterfly is really about the cycles of life. And we were talking about embodying patience. The cycle of life and the cycle of a butterfly is really unique in and of itself, right? Same as the moth, right? Where you go from the egg to the caterpillar to the chrysalis if you're a butterfly, and then where you break down, turn into goo, and then emerge with wings. And then this part, and I feel like this is the point, this part of the butterfly or moth's life cycle is very short. It only lives for like 2 weeks in this form. And its it's really there to just mate and pollinate and all of those things. But this is the short time. It's like everything leads up into this. So if you're coming from a place as a butterfly person, you're going like, oh, I just want those wings, man. I just want to have those wings and look flying fabulous and visit all the flowers and be my wonderful light self. If you are waiting for that or focusing on that or putting a lot of emphasis on that part of the journey, there's going to be some disappointment or some bittersweetness that comes in with that because it is such a short aspect of it, which is another way of saying it's not about the destination, but the journey, which is trite and cliche and all of those things. But when we're talking about patience with that strength and being in that strength energy before there's that divide between the strength where you're being called to be now and going into that full energy. I feel like you're in an incubation period from one cycle before another begins. And you're being asked to have patience and trust in the process with it and not to overvalue the end result. Okay? Wow. Okay, let's see what's going on, Sagittarius. Wow. Right. Okay. Wow, look at this. Okay. Put that in the right. So 3 of Cups. Now, this is really brilliant. This is coming up for you here because 3 of Cups, we have the 3 of Swords, and then we have the 3 of Cups. This is about celebration, harmony, achievement. But what's really interesting, right? Reunions. What's really interesting is it's shown with the raccoons here, and the raccoon energy is a bit of a 6 of Pentacles energy, which is about reciprocity, give and take, having help, being of service, being resourceful. But the raccoon, the real magic of raccoon energy medicine is that their perspective is so on point because they see everything as an opportunity. And that's what I feel like the medicine is coming through for you here because I want to point something out. While it's technically the 3 of Cups, one is spilt over and not being accessed, right? And then you've got 2 raccoons reaching for the same one, and then this one here. So there's something about this coming through for you that feels like it would be a missed opportunity not to take a look at your given circumstances over the next couple of months and see opportunity or potential in places that most might overlook or seem as overtly, undesirable or, not as you would prefer it to be. What's interesting as well with this, with the raccoon energy, is it speaks of like masks, the masks that we wear, our authentic self versus the self that we really show and share to the world. And I feel like there's an aspect of this is it is inviting you with this butterfly energy to either properly cocoon yourself during this time and ask yourself those questions within that inner darkness, and then really consider your relationship to what it is that you desire. Consider your relationship to what it is you are moving towards, working on, manifesting, because there's something coming up against that goes, there's more information here and there's more opportunity and resources here than maybe you're seeing at first glance. Then you have the moon here, which is a beautiful Pisces energy. This is about the unknown. This is about psychic energy. This is about dream time. This is about a little bit of mania, a little bit of anxiety. But it's interesting with the moon here because this really we're talking about living in patience, right? And then we have the moon here, which is like, this can be, let's just talk about the moon. This can be a very frustrating key to get in a reading for a lot of people. I know I've been there with the moon. I've been to the moon and back with the moon, okay? But it can be a very frustrating key that comes up because it's like, okay, what's my advice about this? Or how's this gonna turn out? And then it's like, you get the moon, which is basically saying like, you know, the answer is yet unknown. It's like, what? Right? This is basically live in the question. But do you see these two buildings here? And between the two, we're also looking at Mabon, which is, you know, equal parts night and day. There's interesting with that balance coming up here. But with the two apartment buildings, we're talking about strength. And what did I see? I saw a divider line, like a division equation, right? Right? Into the new one. And then we have a garbage can and like knocking it over and like, oh, this is a resource. Do raccoons aren't they known for knocking over trash cans and like, oh, okay, eat that? You put a little bit of Tony's on that, put a little bit of seasoning, put it over a nice open fire, it won't make a difference, right? There's something about using this time of the in-between to really access your resources because it feels like there's something really exciting in there for you, right? Now, what do I mean by resources? This could be an idea that you haven't had yet. This could be a solution to a problem that's long eluded you. This could be a potential for a new project or somewhere you might never considered living, but excites you suddenly. This could be that. And I also want to say with the moon, you know, the universe is constantly conspiring, in my experience, to give us signs and symbols and affirmations, but we are so rarely paying attention. And I feel like this is asking you to pay attention, that I kind of see this image of Sagittarius like walking around and going, what are the answers? What's the way? What's the key? What's the timing? And the universe is literally like throwing all these signs on the path, and Sagittarius keeps looking the wrong way, and they're looking, you know what I mean? So it's interesting that that's coming through for you, but it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like, you know, you doing it wrong. It feels like it's just about going about it another way and being open to possibilities and potentials that may surprise you. Because here's the thing, if you have a set desired answer around a question that you have, but the answer that's best for you falls outside of what you think you want, right? Or the obvious choice, or the one that you really have a lot of energy and investment in, you're not going to be open to that answer to receive it because it exists outside of your desire. So open it up a bit. Not what's the answer to this, it's what is my advice on, you know, achieving happiness? What's my advice to feel satisfied with where I am? See how we open it up a bit and give the universe more the palette to work with and paint with, right? Page of Cups. Now this came up in the reverse, but it's interesting because look at like the half divider line here. It keeps coming up for y'all with the half divider line here. Now, Page of Cups, you know, this is a beautiful energy because it speaks of that youthful energy of someone who, you know, has never known hurt before, who's truly excited by all of the pleasures and you know, pleasure points and experiences and love experiences that life has to offer, not coming from a place of expecting the worst, but expecting nothing but the best because they've never known anything different. But what's really fascinating with this, especially because this is a capybara and then we have like a little, what looks like a little, like a red bird there. There's something about this that's asking you to, because it did come up in the reverse, I'm hearing to release how things have gone for you before, Release any past, and I know this, it's like, okay, well, it's really easy to say, a little bit harder to do. Like, how do I do that? But I'm getting for you, in order to release, sometimes what we expect, we manifest, and not always for the better. Like we can trick ourselves into thinking, I'm expecting this to go really well, but our energy core, our heart, our cup, right? Our heart cup, right? Is like, oh no, this is not going to work out for me. This is not going to work out for me. So it's like our head and our heart aren't exactly on the same page. I can't tell you how common occurrence that is, which is really, it becomes more about getting out of our own way with it. But it's interesting that the capybara is floating to the past with the cup here, and then the red bird is going like, no, I'm not going to be in this water anymore. I want to fly off and away. But I'm really hearing you're being asked to make good or make amends with some pain or how things have gone for you previously, and allow yourself to go into that cocoon, face those things, and then transform. I'm hearing face your shadows and transform. Okay, let's get some advice. Face your shadows and transform. Oh, I love it. Your advice, hello, is Ace of Wands, fire energy here for my fire signs. I like it. So Ace of Wands, you know, whenever we see an ace at play here, this is about a big burst of energy or a new beginning around something, right? So the fact that it's the Ace of Wands, the wands are about what excites us, what gives us passion and purpose, and what really lights our fire and gets us going, right? But it's something that needs to be kindled as well. You know, I'm really hearing with this as well, with the salamander, because we're talking about patience and cycles. Salamanders are cold-blooded creatures that seek heat, which means they know how to conserve their energy and be still for long periods of time until it's time to move. And then because they were able to conserve that energy, they're able to move quickly and get fed, which it's kind of giving me this butterfly vibe here as well, with patience and cycles and process and transformation and all of that. But I'm really hearing with your advice being the Ace of Wands, I'm hearing to really focus in on what excites you. That feels like a very important question for you right now. What excites you? Because this is also the energy of invention, right? What excites you? Okay, that's an idea. That's a plan. That's a potential, right? Staying connected to that fire. Oh my God, I'm just going to say it. Stay connected to that fire of desire. Oh God, she's just full of cliches today. But staying connected to that place within you that desires and wants and is inspired by feels incredibly, not just transformational, because fire is the great transformer as well. And then you have the butterfly energy here as well. But there's also an aspect of this that is going to literally, like a candle, light your way forward, right? And it's going to get you through some of this time of, you know, the answer is yet unknown, or being patient and being in this place of strength, right? And patience and trust, before you're going into that full energy of a new start, a new beginning, a new path ahead, which is forged by the flame of what you truly desire, right? Really, really nice. Let's go ahead and get an oracle. I'm feeling like this one. Oracle for Sagittarius. Right. So here we have the well watcher. Watching that well, wisdom, power of the divine. Literally talking about this. She has an owl on her shoulder, which is another aspect of like divine wisdom, intuition, seeing clearly. Links it with the moon here. But the well watcher with the wisdom, power of the divine, this is about waiting for the right time for something, because she's literally watching this well and waiting for something to come through the other side. Isn't that brilliant? But I'm really hearing with this is really about, again, like we've been talking about, trusting and patience and understanding that timing and where you are, embracing that from a place of, you know, really checking in with yourself and going like, what resources are available to me during this time? What in my experience, not that I wish were different, I can observe that and go, okay, I wish this were different. I don't have control over this, but I do have facility around this, and I'm exactly where I am for a reason, and I can either make the best of it like the raccoons, or I can struggle and fight against it and have a hard time, right? Like the butterfly can kind of encapsulate and sort of a you know, shadow energy of that. Shadow energy of butterflies, we resist change and we want to rush parts of the process or experience and get to the bit where we're flying about. And this is saying, don't rush it, right? Be exactly where you are, because it's all part of a divine, timing that you can't necessarily see, but really link into your desire and what truly gives you passion and excitement and that spark to light the way forward for you. And trust me, you will get to where you're going exactly when you're meant to. It's really beautiful. Okay, Sagittarians, I'm wishing you a beautiful Maven season. Just a reminder, if you do want my free quiz on determining your strongest clair and how some exercises to, really strengthen that clair, and also a little bit of tea on what my strongest clairs are and how I use them in readings, the link to that free quiz is in the description box below. Also, I did open more personal readings. If you want to grab you one, the link is in the description box below. This is the last round. The first round sold out, and I've opened this last window, and then I don't know when I'll be back and able to do them again. But I love connecting with you guys. So again, click on that link. And that being said, just thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I so hope that this helped and resonated. If so, please let me know in the description box below, because I love reading your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would so appreciate that. And with that being said, just thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And most of all, and as always, beautiful Sagittarians, thank you for being you. And be well. Until next time.